Hello, thank you for agreeing to help with the Global Urban Tree Canopy Validation Project. I'm not going to introduce the project in this video. It's already introduced in another video that you also have the link to, so check that out if you want to get more of the overarching importance of this project. This is the getting started basics. So this is going to be referring to these locations on Google Drive in this public access folder that you'll receive a link to gain access to. I'm opening up this global UTC public spreadsheet. This is your main workspace. So I open it up and I get to instructions that are listed out, and these are basically what I'll be going through in video format as well. Okay, let's start with the beginning here at the video. This is going to be watching a video. Hey, that's what we're doing right now. It's going to be downloading Google Earth Pro for desktop. So we'll use the link that they put in this instructions. And this has to be downloaded. Cannot be done on the web. So you're going to do Google Earth Pro on desktop, and it's going to let you do the download, and I'll let you proceed through that for Mac or PC. Okay, what's next? So after that, you'll install it on your computer, and then you're going to go ahead and open up the program. So we'll open it up. It'll look something like this, and there's a few things that need to be done prior to doing mapping work effectively. So first of all, it's going to be turn off everything over here in this primary database. All we want to see is imagery. We don't want to be influenced by any other labels, place names, etc. The second thing is going to be going to Tools, Options, Navigation, and there's two things you can do here. And I should say the way of getting here on a Mac is a little different, but I trust that you can find some kind of tools, options, workflow, and end up at this navigation area. The most important thing to change is you want to set do not automatically tilt while zooming. We want everything to be as if we're looking straight down at our view. So none of this bird's eye view stuff or oblique angle view. We want straight down because that's where things are the most map-like. Secondarily, I would recommend that you change the fly to speed to make it quite fast. I mean, you could just go all the way to the top here. We're not here for tourism. We're here to go as quickly as possible. So you'll set those, and then you'll be good to proceed. So the next thing we're going to do is decide on a city to work on. So in this global UTC public worksheet, you'll see 15 or so cities. So right now it only has 4 listed in there, but that's fine. So let's say for the day, I'm going to start working on Durham. So I guess first of all, let's go over to the sign in. So I want to sign in and most importantly say what my initials are going to be that I'm going to be logging points as. So I'll put in my name here, my initials, and my affiliation, mostly going to be American University, but there's some other people helping out there. Just like to keep track of this. So you only have to do this once. Now we can go over to Durham, and now it'll make sense what initials I can put in when I start entering in my data. So now that I know that I'm going to be doing Durham, I want to get the Durham KML files. Those are the name of points that show up in Google Earth. It's just the structure of them, keyhole markup language. And you're going to get those in the city KML points file or folder. So you're going to go in there, you're going to find Durham, and you're going to download to your download folder. So we'll let that happen. You see they are doing their thing here. And now in my downloads folder, I have access to the Durham random points. Bring over my Google Earth, and I'm just going to drag these random points in there. So these are your 500 points that you're going to be working with today. So given that nobody has done this yet, I see that my first point FID, that's just the unique ID of these points, is number 1. And so let's just start there. So go to my map. Good to keep things maximized so you can see everything well. I'm going to expand these little triangles until I get to the list of every point. Unfortunately, I have not figured out how to show the actual FID number here. That's kind of weird, but is what it is. But for number 1, I just go to the first one. Even if you're looking for number 300, you can kind of scroll down a bit. You click on one, you see, okay, that's FID 61. You keep going down, and eventually you'll hone into the right place, and it'll be rarely as hard as finding 300 for the first time. So we got number 1, FID number 1, not the other ones, must be FID. Now I double click on this and it zooms me in. So now I'm ready to say what the land cover is for this point. So let's go back to the spreadsheet here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 choices. Can't be assessed. Clouds, glitches, other weirdness. I have almost never had one that I think can't be assessed. So you maybe run into something in some of the other countries where the imagery isn't quite as good as the US. There are some times with this cloud cover, but usually, because I'm going to show you how to look at multiple dates, you can assess almost everything. So use that very sparingly. So impervious ground, pervious ground, building, tree canopy, and water. So fairly self-explanatory. So this one, pretty obviously, tree canopy in a forest. So I'm going to put in the number 3 and my initials. So you can see it turns black there. That's just to make it so the second collector isn't just casually looking over and seeing what you got. We want this to be independent. So let's do another one for Durham. So number 2, double click on that. So you do need to zoom in quite a bit so you can see what's actually happening here. And this one's a little trickier. You're like, is that road, impervious ground, or is that tree canopy? It looks like kind of a weird image. So here's the first one where I'd be like, well, I think that's tree canopy, but these images, the way that Google is handling the images is odd. So let's look at a different image. So we're going to click on this little clock to show historical imagery. And you can already see it's bringing up different imagery. You can look down here. This is February 21st, 2024. One thing I'll note is it's preferable to not use winter imagery because you want there to be leaves on the trees. So, okay, I'm going to avoid that one. I'm in February 2024. Here, for 2023. It's April, not ideal, but it's okay. So this one, maybe impervious. This one's a hard one. So eventually I would just take a guess. I would just say, well, I don't want to spend all day on this. I've had 2 different image dates suggest that this could be canopy overhanging impervious surface. I'm just going to go with that. So this does bring up a general lesson of like, don't try too hard. Don't spend too long on these. Take your best shot by looking at hopefully just one, maybe a couple images, and then move on. So I'm not going to enter in my name every time. I would just do all of my, let's say I do 15. I could just then drag down my name when I'm done. So, okay, you can work on other cities too. It probably makes most sense to just focus on one at a time. But if we wanted to go over to Beijing and do some of that, we could. In fact, let me just do that real quick to see if anything is super different. So I'm going to get my Beijing points, download those, and we'll load these into the map. And we will travel to the other side of the world. So let's see which point I'm going to do here. Beijing, hey, also number 1. Great. So we'll expand. Actually, I'm going to go up and collapse I'm going to collapse my Durham points just to get them out of the way. Oh, I actually put them in the Durham folder, though. Is that a problem? Nah, doesn't matter. You can still see the Beijing points. So we'll double click and we'll travel to Beijing. So our imagery here is 2019. Let's just go back up to present. Usually good to just stay on the most modern image. So, okay, this is either going to be pervious ground, like this grass stuff, or canopy. This might be worth looking at another image. That one's not good because that's winter. So that's enough for me. I'm going to say that that is canopy and move on. So I'm going to say canopy. Let's look at number 2. We're getting some good tough ones here. This is good starting point. Okay, that's pretty obvious. That's water. Don't do any further testing there. Whoops, see, I did that wrong. Control Z to back that out. Water. This one looks like building. So this is, if I see this and it looks like this, I say building and move on. But I am going to show you how things on tall buildings can get a little weird because it depends on what angle you're looking at them. Here, the airplane was clearly on this side because you're seeing this side of the building. So let's see what happened when we go back to 2024. Okay, that's still building. Great. Let's not mess around anymore. Let's just put that in as building 2. So that's the idea. You'll have a set of 20 training points to do in where in Baltimore and Istanbul, and then we'll get you going in the real data set. So thanks so much for your help and happy labeling.